follow up on what you just said now. It's something that me and Dom always talk about. It's like some players, if they go into teams to suffer, they come out better. And you kind of mentioned how you had to grow in Excel. It's like you had a rocket ship start, right? You went to finals in the first split in Splice, with me, and then it's like 2017 was also like, especially in summer, was solid, right? You guys went 5 games against G2. And then you had your suffering time, I would say, in Misfits and in Excel. But the overarching question that I'm wanting to ask here is the 2019-2020 Mickey, how much did you change coming back to G2 during this transition period and a little bit of a suffering period? I guess a part of that should be also 2021 as well.
Yeah, I mean, for sure after Excel, I think I brought a lot more of my opinions to the new G2, or I guess pushing people to do more, like outside the game. Like, for example, we did a lot of presentations and stuff, which was our staff's idea, but I made sure that if I did a presentation, it wasn't like half-assed. I just wanted to make it very useful so we can learn something new every time we make it. And I wanted to have the same for my team as well, so we could actually put our time to good use. So I feel like that was something that in the past I would probably not do, I would kind of just play my solo queue and then that's fine. But I felt like I put a lot more effort into watching games, trying to figure out new stuff about the game. And I think it worked quite well, because I think in the last 2 years I've learned a lot about the game that I would never think about beforehand, because I would never do like much research. I would just kind of play the game, and then if something in game happens, sure. But yeah, I think just like some specific interactions, or like how the game just works in general, like some vision stuff. I think.
How about your in-game role? Considering you played with Hans, it's like Hans is like the rumored to be very, very vocal in game. Was that like intentional, or did your in-game role also develop? Because when I played with you back in 2016, you were very, very quiet, right?
Yeah.
You're very, very quiet.
I think usually I kind of adapt to what my team wants, or what the team is currently doing. So if Hans talks a lot, I don't really have to do much or like talk much. But for G2 at least, or for Hans, I was kind of just the translator for Yike. So he says, "Go bot right now," or like, "We need to bot right now." I would say like, "Okay, we need to like on this wave," or like, you can do this camp still, and then you can come, like we have time or whatever. I would be a bit more detail focused, where Hans would just be like very adamant or like demanding about who he wants or like when he wants it. I would just be like, "Oh yeah, you can still do like this camp or whatever, and then you can come." Or like in pre-game planning, I had a bit more of a idea. I feel like I could imagine how the lane would play out a bit better, so I could voice that. And then for like mid-game stuff, I would just give more suggestions, where in the past everyone else would just kind of talk instead. Like for example in Splice, we had everyone that was talking besides me and Kobe, I think. So everyone would give a lot of plans or ideas, so I was just following. Misfits was similar. I think Max was talking a lot, so I didn't really have to contribute much there. 2019, we also had like everyone talking basically. And in Excel, I guess Markoon was talking a lot, and then Nuke. I guess that's kind of the time where I started giving a bit more suggestions for myself. So I guess my problem is that I'm not very confident, or like I don't want to like say, "Oh yeah, we should do this," or like, "Let's do this right now." I mean, some games I can do it if I'm like very confident in it, but usually I'm just like suggesting, and then we make a decision as a team, which sometimes can take too long. But yeah, that is something that I'm focusing on, I guess. So yeah, for now, for this year's with the roster, the G2 roster, I guess in mid game it was a lot of times either Hans talking. If he was ahead, then he could lead the game, and then Caps if he was feeling it, depending on the day. And then if Caps was not feeling it, then I would be the one to try to pick him up or like get him back to the game, to try to ask him questions so he can contribute a bit. Like, what do you need? Like, how do you want to lane assign? How do you want to do whatever, So I guess that would be kind of my role in teams compared to before, where I was kind of just like playing my game, yeah.
Okay. So hypothetically, if you join the team that is like really doing well in early game, but in mid to late game, it's like throwing games in the big matches. How would you feel? How would you approach a team that would suffer from those issues, and how would you see yourself as a solution?
Very elegant.
I mean, still, I would just give my suggestions in the game, but I think I would focus a lot more on discussing out of the game, like how we should approach situations, because I think that's how it should be. Because everyone, at the end of the day, everyone should be on the same page, and everyone should be knowledgeable enough to know what should happen on like outside the game. And in the game, someone used to say like a short sentence or like a plan. Like you don't have to describe the whole thing. You just have to say, "Oh yeah, let's play for Drake," and then everyone should kind of be aware of what they need to do for that. So I think that's the main topic that we should discuss, like outside the games, which I think I can provide that knowledge. But yeah, for me, it's more difficult to do it in the game currently, because I don't like micromanaging people or like telling them, "Oh yeah, you should," like even if I tell them, "Oh, what about this wave?" I already feel bad because I'm like implying that they don't know they should get this wave, for example. So I'm you know, maybe they're doing something with that in mind. But that's why I wanna usually address it after the game, because I think that's
it's very
easier.
innocent of you. Nice. I respect that. Yeah, damn,
that makes sense.
I would just assume the worst.
I mean, yeah, for the majority of my career, I just assumed that everyone around me is like way smarter. But then in 2018, I got benched. So then I was like, wow, maybe people are not actually very smart.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
maybe not everyone is so smart.
You got benched. You got benched for one of the goats. Yamato likes bringing up the story, being benched for the coach. That's a special.
Yeah, that was also a critical part of a change in my mindset, I guess. Before that, I was not like very selfish in how I want to do stuff, but then I was like, actually, I don't care what the rest wants to do in game. I'm just gonna do what I think is best, because people around me are stupid.
Perfect.
Back in the day when I joined Splice, for example, I was like, wow, everyone is actually so smart. I should just like listen to them. Like everything they say makes sense, because everyone was actually very smart, I felt like. So I just listen, I don't have to do anything to win or like by myself. I don't need anything extra or do it my way. I'll just follow what they're saying and then we win, because it kind of worked, So
I feel like that's a lot of that comes down to the type of team you join, because if I remember correctly, you joined Splice in the second split, right? So you didn't play with them in the first split. So you're like the new guy coming in, and you probably felt like, oh, I'm the new guy. They're already like a pro team. I just want to like do my things, play my thresh, like hit some hooks, play mechanically well, and they'll take care of everything else.